What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York here at Aftershock Festival 2022, and we are here with Maggie Lindemann. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Anytime. It's so great to have you here. You got the new album, Sucker Punch, out now. Was this just a continuation of Paranoia, being that Paranoia didn't come out long before it, or was this a new beginning in your career, you would say?
Kind of. It feels like a little bit of a continuation with like some extra stuff. So, I don't know. It definitely feels like a sister to Paranoia. I don't know. It's like both. Both.
Do you ever start off with like a preconceived idea of what you want an album to sort of sound like, or is there a lot of improvising and experimentation involved?
There was a lot of improvising and experimentation. I think like I had an idea and then I kind of shifted away from the idea a little bit. I think for me, like when I'm working and when I'm writing, it's best for me to not go in with an expectation because I have a really hard time following it, and then I don't want to get like upset or whatever. But also I just feel like I work best when I'm just creating and not really putting like a label or myself in any kind of box.
Definitely, and I think that I could tell that by your audience. Pop fans enjoy your music, metalheads enjoy your music. It seems to go all along the spectrum. But when it comes to like having this, not having a preconceived vision, how do you kind of like know when to stop in a way?
Yeah. I don't know when to stop. My manager cuts me off. Yeah, he's like, all right, that's the album. We're done. Like, pick the songs. We're done. So I was like, okay. But I actually, I don't know when to stop. For the album, like, I still wanted to do more and more and more, and I got cut off. So.
Fair enough. When it comes to your whole like catalog, to have a song like Crash and Burn, when I first heard that, I never would have expected to hear a song like We Never Dated off the Sucker Punch album. Is every song maybe a reflection of a particular emotion that you were feeling at that time? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think everything I do is based off my mood and based off what I'm going through at that time and like feel the need to write about. So for like We Never Even Dated, that's just how I was feeling, and I didn't want to write a hard song. I didn't feel hard or angry about the topic. I felt like sad and lonely and whatever I felt, and I wanted to portray that in this song. And I don't know, I think with every song I make, like with Crash and Burn, I was angry, and that's why I sound angry and why it's a little bit more upbeat and crazy and whatever. So I think every song I make is like a reflection of whatever I'm going through at the time.
When you work on something for a long span of time, though, because sometimes you're working on a song for hours or days or weeks or months, even years for some people, do you find it harder to kind of like maintain that emotion that initially sparked the idea? Yeah,
for sure. I think for me, I try to always write the song that day. I don't really like to like cut a song and then like finish working on it the next day or whatever. Like I don't like to do that. For We Never Even Dated, we did have some rewrites, but I think when I do like rewrites, I can still like pretty easily tap into that emotion. But yeah, maybe now if I tried to tap into it, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. And if with a rewrite, I mean, aren't you always worried the original way that you write something could be a B-side and just be the biggest hit you've ever had?
Oh my God, yes. No, literally like for this album, we had so many rewrites because I just like felt like all the verses were just terrible and I just kept rewriting them. And I get demoitis really bad, which like if you don't know what demoitis is, it's like when you listen to the demo too many times and now you're like hooked on it even though you know it's not the best it could be. So I definitely get demoitis, and maybe, who knows? The world will never know.
Yeah, of course. And I've always said like your music is, as I said before, there's pop elements, rock elements. Is it fair to say that you have many different sources of inspiration, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone has different moods for every day. Like maybe today you want to listen to R&B, but maybe tomorrow you want to listen to metal, and then you want to listen to pop. Like I think. For me, I listen to a lot of different types of music, and I love different genres, and I love experimenting with different things. So, yeah, like one day I might feel soft, and I want to like write a little sweet song, and then another day I'm like mad.
And going back to the emotional element, clearly there is an internal source of inspiration, but is observation or looking externally also a subject matter that you address?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really inspired by like everything. I'm really inspired by other people, by music I hear, by sounds I hear sometimes even. I'm really inspired by live music, clothes, movies, everything really.
But in order to get that like inspiration, do you have to like put yourself in a specific place in order to cultivate ideas, or does inspiration just strike when you least expect it?
Inspiration kind of just strikes me. I feel like I could be literally anywhere and randomly get an idea, or like I really, really love live shows. I really like just being here and seeing all these people. Like it really inspires me just for my live show, or how I hear something they did and I'm like, oh, I want to do that in a song. That's sick. So I don't know. I'm really inspired. Just like I don't need much to get inspired.
Well, when it comes to the live show that you're talking about, when you like, bringing all these songs that you wrote at different times, does it put you back in the emotion when you first originally wrote it, when you're replicating it live, when you perform Crash and Burn live? Does it put you back in that sort of angry state in a way?
No, honestly, it doesn't. I'm usually like, by the time it's out and everything, I'm usually pretty over the emotion. Also, though, when I'm performing live, it's really hard for me to tap into emotions because I kind of tap out completely. I kind of zone out when I perform, and like I'll like come back into it and be like, oh my god, I'm like almost done with my set. But it's not even like a zone out of like in a bad way. It's just like I get so into it that I'm just like I go into kind of like a different place in my head.
And you almost like bring an alternate reality into your sound.
Yeah.
And when it comes to your live presence, is there at all a similar energy that you channel into your live presence as you do in your songwriting, or do you feel like they're two completely separate arts and sides of you?
Definitely two completely different. I think like when I'm recording, vocally, like when I'm making a song vocally, I do tap into something, but when I do it live, I don't know, it's like a different feeling. It's kind of weird to even describe, but no, I think they're different, super different.
Do you almost have to like practice crowd interaction and stage presence like as much as you need to practice like the actual song itself?
Yeah, I think so. I think stage presence, yes. I am still working on it. Like I think I've progressed a lot since the beginning of my career, my stage presence, but I think stage presence really matters, and it's really hard, but it's also really weird because when I'm performing and like doing rehearsals, it's a completely different feeling than when I'm on stage. So I don't know.
Yeah. Is there like, when we listen to the album and it's a great experience, but if a listener wants to get to know you to the fullest, seeing you live and replicating these songs live is ultimately the best way, right?
Yeah, live performances, definitely.
Yep. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today and for such an awesome chat. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote with the release of Sucker Punch? I know that you're coming to New York City October 19th at Mercury Lounge. I will be there.
Yep. I'll be at LA Moroccan Lounge on the 15th. And then, just my new album's out, so check it out. And, that's
awesome.
it.
Well, thank you so much. Everybody, we are here with Maggie Lindemann. Be sure to check out Sucker Punch. If you haven't already, we will see you next time on Heavy New York.